I would want to have a PE license one day, right? But I wasn't having a clear direction of what to do and where to start. Even when I applied to the board, I made some mistakes, and then they have to bring my documents or reply me back. So all of this, you need to know a lot of things to be able to go through the process successfully. So information gap, that is why I'm putting together this series to clarify things to engineers. Okay, another thing is the moving target. State requirements vary, and then most people do not know this. One time I have a call with a session with other people, and then some people were asking about, okay, if I am in India and then I get the lances, can I provide stamping to drawings in the US? So that is going to be out of the way, because even in the US, one state does not apply to another state. So if you live in a different country, that means that you cannot have a license in that country and then apply your stamping here, unless you have the stamp in that state, which is also possible. And then we'll look at that in different section, where international people, you can be in a different country and then have the lances. So we'll talk about that later. Okay, the isolation problem. So without a mentor or a community, the journey feels impossible. Engineers who have a guide are statistically more likely to complete the process. What delay actually cost you? So on average, if we compare an engineer who is licensed and the one who is not licensed, the difference, this is not based on hard numbers, right? This is based on a survey from different organizations, right? Obviously, nobody is coming out to say that, okay, this is my salary and the rest. But big organizations have national data that shows salaries of engineers with PE and salaries of engineers who don't have the PE. So on average, let's say that the difference is like 17,000, right? And then you keep on delaying that. So every year, maybe you are supposed to get plus $17,000 in your income. But the more you delay, that means that you are losing money. You're putting money under the table. Over the period of time, right? If you compound it, we have already checked that in 5 years, 17 times 5 is going to cost you like $85,000. That's like a lot of money. And then also you keep on closing doors of opportunities to yourself. The more you keep on delaying, how it's going to cost you. And then as the years compound and compound, you see that your growth cannot recover anymore. You get to a point where you feel like you're stuck, and then you cannot actually have any projections into different things that you can do. So delaying your PE license actually costs you. The earlier you take the action, the better. And then the earlier you have a strategic plan about how you want to execute it step by step, the better for you. Yeah, okay, let me talk about myself, my journey briefly. So the whole process, as I mentioned starts from somewhere and it goes through all the steps, right? So first of all, when I started in 2021, that was when I wrote the first one in November and I did not pass. And then in early 2022, I wrote it again, having a clear plan and direction, and I passed it. With that clear practice or strategy, I wrote the PE exams 2 months later and I passed the PE as well. Then I waited. So I waited for some time and accumulate experience working under a professional engineer in the US. Okay. And then now after that accumulation of experience and then providing my education documents to the National Council for Credential Evaluation, completing all the state application process, I was able to acquire my PE license. It's a lot of process, but at the end of the day, it is worth it. Okay. So this process, if you are not very determined, or if you don't have somebody to inform you the process and guide you, you might end up giving up. Okay. Let's look at we are almost getting to the end of my talk and then open for the question and answers. So you start with a FE, go to your AIT, and then finally to the PE lances. There are important things to do. First, you need education. Second is your examination, and the third is experience. These are the three most important things. So if you look at it, the National Council calls them, we have the E, which is education, the E, another E, which is the examination, and another E, which is the experience. So the three E's. So these three E's, you need them. Education. Is your education accredited or it's not accredited? Is your education in the US or is outside the US? You need to know this. So if your education is outside the US, no problem. It means that you need to just do one additional thing. You need to submit your education, the coursework, plus they call it the detail, like the breakdown of the courses that you took. So for instance, if you took a course in electrical machines, there's always like a brief, like a paragraph description about the electrical machine course. So you would typically will get this thing from your school. Your school will provide this, or your department will provide this. You can even get it from the school website. And so you need to provide that detailed course coursework, and then also your transcript. All of this would have to be sent by your university to the National Council for Educational Evaluation or for credential evaluation. Number two, you need, but if your education is in the US, you don't need this evaluation. If your education is in the US and it's accredited, no evaluation. So that place you have saved $400. So evaluation alone will cost you $400. You pay that money, not to me, but to the National Council. Okay. Sometimes, even if it is not the National Council, some states will give you some options. So you have options to select where to send your staff, your educational background to for the evaluation. Most people use the National Council. At the end of the day, everything will be sent through National Council to the state board. So I always prefer using the National Council for the evaluation. Number two, as I mentioned, you need to take the exam. The exam is the FE exam, Fundamentals of Engineering, and the PE exam, which is the Principles and Practice of Engineering. You take those two, you pass them. After that, you can accumulate your work experience, and then you submit everything to the state, through the National Council, and then it goes to the state board. The state board will take some time to evaluate everything that you have submitted. Sometimes they do a background check to see that you don't have a criminal records. They do a lot of things. So after that, before they provide you the approval. Some states might even require you to provide a police report. I provided a police report when I was applying for Pennsylvania. So need to bear in mind. Okay. What to take away from today? So I'm just wrapping up from today's presentation. The PE license is a legal credential. It's not just a certification. It's a legal document. The PE license gives you the leverage of earning about 15 to 25% ahead more, right? But let's say 20%. And then that could even widen as you progress in your career. Electrical engineering is growing at 7%. So what do you want to do with this? It's more jobs coming, more opportunities, but the better if you have a PE, it puts you in a better position. So delay is expensive, every year costs you real money and real career momentum. Finally, this is the last page. It is your turn now. We are 46 minutes into the presentation. So yeah, that was my plan, to have 45 minutes talk, and then I give you the 15 minutes back.